Hey, how is it going, people? Oh, let me click on this. Bam. Hey. Oh, I've got an invisible. I'll just pull. Get too close. Shadow. Oh, no. Oh, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. You can see a see-through chest sometimes. It'll be fine. How's everyone doing today? Hope you are well. We're just going to sort of like chill out and chat. We might play a little bit of Star Citizen in a bit. We'll just sort of be floating around in the verse, just going, that's pretty. In 3.6.0 N PTU, which has some performance issues, but it's not particularly crashy. They're certainly getting there with the 3.6 patch now. Like, they've got it mostly feature full now, and they need to go through the blockers, get rid of all the blockers, make sure the servers are running reasonably well, and pow, then we are pretty ready to go. I thought it was I thought it was Friday today. It's Thursday. Got a bit confused. But see, maybe it's better to chatty stream on Thursday. Who fucking knows? I am planning to start doing a sort of like breakfast club thing, where in the morning we stream and chat while I do start some videos and sort of like get my work done. Maybe we'll try that out. Good morning. It's 4:30 p.m. here. Everyone. My favourite bit, you can hear Bored just plodding around in the background. I was downstairs when these stream was running. I don't know if that's destroyed the magic for you. Love you, Putin. I love you, Simon Morris. They're all beautiful people. Bored. That was a hairball. Doing today. I'm good, thank you very much. A little bit hungover. Went out last night to see a mate I haven't seen her in a while who's moved up to down every so often for work. Other mates, we went to the pub. I got taught how Russia responds to certain things in capabilities and stuff like that, and how DEF CON works and things like that. Told about Area 51 being people saying they're going to storm it, like that weird stuff. Interesting. Oh, hear me properly, or does it keep on cutting out? Is that better? Like, I don't want to keep on cutting out. I'm not sure if it's registering my voice in my bob. Hopefully that's okay. If it's coming out at all. Partying too hard. No. We went to a German bar and had lots of German beer. It was pretty chill. Middle of the week, there was like 8 people in the pub, excluding us. It was good. Bored, any chance you start doing lore videos for Star Citizen? Yeah, potentially. I like to do and talk about things that are tangible for the game, typically at the moment anyway. That's sort of like the way my brain is wired. So when it comes to lore videos, I've done some previous lore videos, sort of like scaling up, well, compressing what we knew about the historical elements of Star Citizen from the sort of genesis of them making the first quantum drive to jump points to date, just sort of like a compression of that timeline. So it's like bringing you up to date with what's happened between modern day and Star Citizen times. But there's obviously a load of lore that they brought out over the last couple of years, which I haven't covered at all. So, I mean, I could just cover a load of the lore in a compressed video, going over a load of stuff briefly, or I could put it into the format of this lore is useful for in-game knowledge as well. I don't know. I'll have a look and I'll try and work it out. Will this game be released one day? Probably. It's playable now, but it is a playable alpha, which is in itself is a contradiction. Squadron 42 Episode 1 has a beta 2020 Q2 current sort of like goal for them trying to get a feature complete beta for then, which could then potentially lead on to a 2020 release if we're a bit lucky. So Star Citizen though, on the shelf release date for Star Citizen, that's a lot longer off. How does the vegetation look on Hurston? Fucking fantastic. It's significantly better now that they've really added grass and stuff. Robert Johnston! Why do not able can't good English? Oh, and it is Friday. What? It's not Friday, is it? Thursday, you fucking bastard. Just had a double check. Make it your Friday. Oh my god, it's my Friday. Yes. My first live video with you. Oh. Well, welcome, Eugene. Have you thought of cosplaying the Mekong from Dan Dare? I don't know what that is. For ultra role players, do you think they will give the option to hide the friendly text above the cockpit buttons and just allow you to click a button? Oh, so you won't have to go into... I see what you mean. So can I hold F and not have inner thought pop up, but still click the buttons because I know what those buttons are? They could potentially put in a toggle for toggle inner thought and toggle, yeah, they could put something like that in. Your mic's in the screen. How's that? Is that better? Is that okay? How long do you think we'll have to wait before hacking is fleshed out enough for the Herald to be useful? So, I suspect the Herald is more likely to be useful for data running and cargo running with data, if you see what I mean. So there'll be missions for hacking, there'll be missions for data retrieval, there'll be general data as a commodity, stuff like that. And I suspect data as a commodity is the first major use that the Herald will have, in my opinion. Hacking-wise, I'd expect maybe there's some missions that will be more suitable for the Herald, but have very basic hacking mechanics. I think one of the things that people want is sort of like missions that have you using the Herald or another sort of like similar type ship to intercept, like the Mercury Star Runner, intercept and steal effectively data off someone that's transmitting into whatever, so that you can then make money from that. But I suspect there'll be lots and lots of uses and lots of things that get more and more fleshed out as we go on. Well, that's sort of obvious, but I wouldn't expect it to be a single giant mechanic. I'd expect it to be a iterative process where it gets little bits. What do you think we'll see at CitizenCon 2019? Concept sale, flyable sales systems? So, Dominic, there's a few things that they've sort of been talked about now. On the Star Citizen Leaks Discord, they've said that the RSI Mantis is going to be a heavy fighter that's probably going to be sold at CitizenCon / the Expo during the same time, because it's on the 23rd of November, CitizenCon, and the start of that anniversary Expo that we had last year. They're merged together, so expect lots and lots of things to go on sale. Probably most, if not all, of the previous ships that we've had will go back on sale. Almost certainly going to be an in-game event as well, of like the Expo. CitizenCon's going to be awesome, but there will be a sort of like opening sort of speech and gameplay and all that sort of stuff, where they typically will show some gameplay from, I would expect, 3.8 and 3.9, like Horizon and Microtech sort of stuff. We'll probably see the Carrack. We'll probably almost certainly see a load of gameplay from that, so near future gameplay. When it comes to those concept sales, yeah, they've talked about this RSI Mantis. It's unconfirmed rumor, I suppose, but it looks to be a RSI heavy fighter around 30 meters in length, which will be interesting to see how that comes together. There's also the Ballista as well, which people believe is a ground vehicle that's probably missile or anti-air or something like that, from the sound of Ballista. I would hope to see Squadron 42 new trailer or a vertical slice and gameplay from that, something similar to that. I would like to see a Squadron 42 release date and the start of their main marketing campaign for that. That makes sense to me for them to do it this year and now at CitizenCon, and it also makes sense for them to generate hype off that to sell more ships in the sort of like the anniversary sale. Combining those together is quite sensible. I was thinking the other day, going, they could actually just go for a huge bam, and then there's more devs working on the game longer rather than working on presentations and things, so them pressing that down is actually quite clever. I would like to see a new system, even if it's just jump points and then a very bare bones system. Cool, show me something like that. So we know that once we have server-side object container streaming and full persistence, they'll then be working on server meshing, the static server meshing, and don't know how far that is out, server meshing, to be honest, but that will enable them to have another system properly. They can have a very sort of like controlled LAN environment or a controlled environment where they can show something like that off, though. It doesn't have to be a proper server or anything for it. So yeah, I would hope to see another system or jump points just shown off, sort of like what they're thinking with that. Potentially aliens, potentially the Vandal, potentially a load of new ships, Titan suits, or something that's probably quite high up on the list. They should be done around then. Anyone create a board soundboard so we can pretend to be bored over voice over IP? Wow. Hello and welcome. I will try and see if I can make one. But what else do I think we might see? Obviously, we'll have like panels throughout the day, stuff like Tony Zervik. I'm hoping there's going to be some cool loot and stuff there. It's a proper fan fest there now, and there'll be 2 stages where they'll be doing sort of like looking at new graphicsy stuff, new areas, potentially aliens, flight model stuff, pretty effects, how they do certain things in game, economy, NPCs, simulation stuff. Tony Zerovic, hopefully talking for over an hour on cool stuff, game design stuff, and plans for the future on a load of mechanics. So that's the sort of stuff I'd expect to see at CitizenCon. It'll probably be pretty hype. How is the latest patch? Even though they downsized the roadmap because they're implementing bullshit mechanics like VoIP and VoIP, or doing unnecessary ship reworks? Question mark. A little bit confused by that question. Yeah, so the nature of Star Citizen and the roadmap there is stuff moves, gets pushed back. They have goals. They have they try to meet, and they give us an indicator of what they're trying to put into a patch. Some of that stuff moves back. At the moment, we're getting a mixture of some delayed features getting pushed back and a delayed patch, which is not ideal. One or the other is sort of like okay with me. They want to have a date-driven model, so I think in the future, with like 3.7 onwards, they will almost certainly push features back rather than delay a patch, just much more readily. And I think that's probably a better idea, in my opinion. They can always have these 3.6.x patches or 3.7.x patches to have some of those extra features in there, but I suspect they want to stay away from that as well. Minor patches should just be that, minor and quick. They don't want to have to delay or slow their process down because they're taking a long time to release a .x patch. VoIP and VoIP, I mean, they put it out in a while ago, had a separate team working on that. There's lots of teams working on lots of separate modules and parts of Star Citizen. Having more devs working on those parts doesn't necessarily make them go any faster. Star Citizen is just a slow process, unfortunately. I think VoIP will actually be pretty cool in-game, and even in 3.6 now, you can see it being much more widely used through a various effect. So we've got some people just doing like autistic screeches as they run off into the distance, which is a bit weird, or swearing at you or whatever, but some people use it for roleplay purposes, or you get some cool experiences, or to team up, or to ally, or to lots of different things to badmouth other people. But there needs to be a way of easily being able to mute people, as well as being able to report people if they are literally, super trolling. Or doing stuff that's outside of the terms of service, or being like, racist or whatever. Yeah, so 3.6, taking its sweet fucking time. Not great, it's taking long, but I'm sort of like waiting more on Squadron 42. Well, CitizenCon this year for me is sort of like a test for development this year, sort of like, how well is that going? Like a rating. I'll have to rate them out of 10 of how much progress they've made. But Star Citizen is slow progress. That's one of the downsides of the project. Squadron 42 potentially being released in 2020. I know some people will say that's madness. It's it's very unlikely to happen. Well, I still think it's possible. But Squadron 42 is Squadron 42 going to be a good game? Episode 1, hopefully, and it will show off whether they're able to make a solid product or not. Do they have the correct vision for sort of like gameplay loops and mechanics? Does the Idris K have a military components? So the Idris K is just a kit. So the Idris K kit allows you to put a on any Idris, I believe, put a big beam laser and some powerful turrets. You will be able to buy military components for your Idris, yes. What are you mostly looking to get in Star Citizen? What am I mostly looking to get? Gameplay-wise, I'm much more of an economist and an industrialist. I like the sort of like economy gameplay, social gameplay, bit of intrigue, bit of alliance-y chats and that sort of stuff, but also making money through mining and cargo and that sort of stuff. I will do a little bit of everything in Star Citizen, though. I'm not going to shy away from combat. This is all Pedro Camacho music. This is a whole Pedro list. Tom Reckoner, thank you very much for the sub. Very much appreciated. I do love you, Robert Johnston, as well. You are one of my favourite people. Mwah. Kiss. Nice. But Star Citizen sort of like my replacement for grinding, socializing, EVE Online, and World of Warcraft, and all of that sort of like compressed into one. There's a lot going on with Star Citizen and the persistent universe that's sort of like promised for the future. So, have you tried dark chocolate flakes on bacon? That actually sounds pretty nice. Like dark chocolate, salt, bacon, and all that sort of stuff together works really well. Fatty, sweet, slightly sweet. Have stability with you for the latest patch. Pretty damn stable. Performance is low though, so there's problems with mission generation, so it keeps on pumping out hacking missions. The hacking terminal thing just breaks as well when you put a hacking chip in it a lot of the time. There seems to be performance issues due to those hacking missions and the hacking terminals, and interdictions as well. Stability-wise, it seems alright. Is the Defender still in 3.7, or has it been pushed back again? It looks like it's still planned for 3.7. The Banu pipeline, however, has been pretty sort of like suffering, it seems. A lot harder for them to do what they've wanted to do, I suppose. Hello, BoredGamer. Good to see you here as always. Enjoying nice UK weather we've had so far. It's so muggy. I like it cold. I like it dank. Dank, is dank the right word? I like it cold. It's too hot. I hope they get around to drop pods and jetpacks. It'll be interesting to see what they want to do for that sort of stuff. So they did say there will be ways of ejecting in atmosphere from a ship and surviving. So whether that's an escapee pod, a parachute, a jetpack, a jet seat, I don't know. Drop pods sound like a cool idea though. I'd like very much like to 40k it. Toggle personal inner thought is already a keybind. Yeah, but that's sort of like the personal inner thought to do emotes and stuff. I mean toggle personal. Toggle the messages on your cockpit, so you can turn off what all the buttons are, so it doesn't say flight ready or anything. It's just I pick that without those messages appearing. That's what that gentleman was asking. Board, do you think the Tumbrel Nova will be shown? Not that I'm aware. I mean, they might have been working on it in secret. They have been talking a lot about straight to flyable and straight to drivable ships without concept phases that we are aware of. So again, the Blister and the Mantis sound like that's very likely. I thought it was going to be for 3.6, but it looks like it's quite likely for CitizenCon. Question, probably inspired by JR Fabrication's ship announcement. I'm not sure if you are a modeler. I am. I actually have a load of 40k stuff under my desk and my paints and everything. I used to sell painted miniatures on eBay for quite good money. I'm reasonably good. I haven't done it in years though, but I've still got all my stuff there. I recently bought a load of orcs because I wanted to do a grot army. Just killer cans and hordes and hordes of grots. But if you could choose a company to start producing and selling plastic resin kits, who? What? I don't know. I like JR Fabrication. I'm friends with Cals and JR. So them? I don't know. So they're JR Fab. They make officially Star Citizen licensed products. So they've got like computer cases, fridges, cargo containers, desks, that sort of stuff. Which is pretty cool, but they're now producing high quality resin sort of like model kits for things like the Arrow. They've got a Grey Cat buggy they've done, and the Arrow is the second in their series, but it's their first ship that they've done, and they've just gone into pre-sale. I will probably be buying 2 for myself. I'll poke JR and Cals and see if they want to, give away some on my channel or something. They're really fucking expensive. The only problem I have with them, like very collectible, I suppose. If you like that sort of stuff, very high quality. I did hear the other day. In fact, someone said on my Discord that a lot of the 3D models that people had made online for Star Citizen ships that could then be 3D printed have seemingly gone missing, and I suspect that's because they're now trying to protect their IP, and JR are actually doing officially licensed things, which means they have to get a license, and it's quite costly to them. But I am actually quite looking forward to playing with their ship, as it were. I think I could paint that pretty well. Draw how I do the glass in the cockpit. Shame that they haven't got clear plastic for the cockpit glass, actually. I'll work out something. I'll work out something. Okay. Do you have any suggestion on how to improve VTOL issues in the PTU at the moment? I just sort of like lose control a bit sometimes with the larger ships. Smaller ships I'm fine with, and once you get used, so at the moment it's a bit fiddly, but if you get used to using the...
Great to see you. Have a nice tea on me. XD jalapeno chili pepper brown sugar paste on bacon baked. Try it. Ordered my Aero model. They are spendy with US conversion, but love the Aero. Keep up the good work.
Thank you very much, Dalamars. I love your face. Long-term backer and lover of the channel. I appreciate you, Dalamars. Kisses. I'm a little bit hungover, so I've gone a bit mad. Oh, Robert Johnston. Good night. Morning, actually. Keep the noise down. I will not. Very much appreciated. Thank you. I say I've shied off bacon. I'm on quite a restrictive diet. I had a few pints last night, so I can't really enjoy myself for another. So, but thank you very much. I will have a nice tea on you. Very much appreciated. Yeah, so with the landing and HOV mode, obviously it's automatic at the moment when you get below a certain speed. They want to have a toggle for that as well, but you can throttle down your power to your thrusters now. So you have velocity control with just mouse wheel, which is what we currently have in the flight model, and then acceleration control with right alt and mouse wheel, and that literally sets power throttle to your thrusters. And if you set that like 50% or so, you can much more accurately and less spinning aroundingly land with VTOL. There's loads of problems with hover and VTOL mode at the moment, though, still. So they just need to sort out the bugs. When I press X, I want the ship to be level. I want it to level out, and I want it to sort of like stabilize and center, because sometimes you level out and then it'll just like drift off in a direction. I don't want it to do that. So they need some to think about that sort of stuff. VoIP, board over IP. I think they might just show off placeholder planets instead of systems to show off the 100 known systems that they have, but quite possibly. I mean, stuff that they show at CitizenCon when it comes to near future gameplay or whatever, typically that will be at least partly faked. I mean, they'll try and show some bits of it and say, like, this is what it's going to kind of look like, or these are some of the mechanics and stuff like that. I'm hoping that we actually see a capital ship battle and stuff like that as well. I'd love to see alien creatures, or just the Vandal up close, or Banu, or the Xi'an, whatever. Sound like bored, all you got to do is shill for my radar and stuff. That is damn right. I will happily shill for Shadow, for my radar, or any other products that I like. So fuck you. Do you think mod support is still likely? Yeah, I think it's still a high possibility, but it's going to be quite far down the line. It's going to be years before we get mod support, in my opinion. But we are all hyped for Star Citizen and Squadron 42. Hyped for any other games board. Cyberpunk, maybe? Yeah. Cyberpunk looks cool. I'll definitely play that. I might even play that on my channel. I'll definitely play it on stream. There's in the near future there is Wolfenstein Youngblood. There's probably the game I'm most excited about is Boneworks. I've got a Valve Index. I actually just got a third tower for motion for it. I've got a PS4, a white one of the pros that I haven't actually tried out yet. And I'm excited, well, at least moderately excited for Death Stranding, Final Fantasy VII Remake. What other PC games, though, am I excited about? Actually, let's see what I just recently bought. Bleep, 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 bleep. That's the keys. And I'd be excited if they bring out Titanfall 3. I have a lot of love for Titanfall. Destiny, the new expansion or the new one that's coming out on Steam, I'm pretty excited for, or at least interested in the idea of, I suppose is a more accurate term. Doom Eternal looks alright. That sort of stuff. Pretty chill. Pretty chill. World of Warcraft Vanilla, or Classic, whatever the fuck it's called. I'll probably be playing some of that. I plan to be rich off real estate in this game. I think that might be a thing. Can we work on store-like imports or outpost? So, I'm not sure to what extent, but there's going to be shops in-game that players can run or in some way stock. There's like the Banu Merchantman has shops on board it. Well, a load of cut grass outside. Dad's downstairs and he's got hay fever and asthma, so he's probably not going to be in the best state. But yeah, so I think being rich off real estate is a possibility. You can certainly real estate. What am I talking about? Shops. Yeah, I think there'll be some level of player-made shops that you can stock and that sort of stuff. But I'm interested to know how player sales will work. Like, will you be able to sell ships and how you would do that? Is it going to be through an auction house? Is that going to be directly to a vendor? Is that going to be directly to another player? So there's lots of stuff like that and potentials for that. Do you build an outpost and then can you have a kiosk or an NPC there selling stuff? So it'll be interesting. I don't know how they're going to do it. I'm not sure if they know how they're going to do it yet. What's your stance on pre-order topic for games in general? I don't mind so much if pre-orders exist, as long as there's a demo of the game to play. Give me a demo of the game, allow pre-orders fine. I understand that, like, I'm a bit capitalist in my thinking with a lot of stuff, so if companies want to do pre-orders, great. That's their choice and people's choices to buy them. I don't think people should pre-order from a consumer point of view, though, because it comes out with crappy business practices and sort of like trying to milk gamers for money before we know if a game's good. It also creates more outrage about stuff because you're like, well, I thought I was getting this, and I've actually got this, and it's shit. When will realistic bowel movements be added into the game? Well, more genuinely, the player status system, I believe, is coming in 3.8. Player status system 3.8. So the player status system will track your hygiene and well-being, your oxygen levels, thirst, hunger, drunkenness, tiredness, temperature, all that sort of jazz. So hygiene is probably going to be you having showers and taking a poo. So 3.8 by the end of the year is when it's currently planned in some sort of level. When is the anniversary sale and what ships are we going to expect? Anniversary sale, 23rd of November, same day as CitizenCon. The anniversary sale will be like a week or two as well beyond that. And expect pretty much every ship that's ever been sold before to go on sale and some new ones. The Ballista and Mantis have been talked about. So the Mantis is potentially a heavy fighter from RSI. The Ballista is potentially a missile truck or a ground vehicle. Or an anti-air vehicle, or something like artillery-ish. That's what people are thinking. And that's quite possible to have them both straight deployable, drivable at CitizenCon. Do you think they will reveal more info on the Redeemer rework at CitizenCon this year? Potentially, yeah. I mean, that makes sense. The Redeemer has become a gunship. We're not sure if the Redeemer is going to stay Aegis as a manufacturer. It could do, but it might change. Do you think they will allow for proper AC-130-esque weapon systems rather than the current weapon types? AC-130, you're talking about like sort of like spinning around and shooting things, boom, 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 boom. Do you know that they plan to have larger weapons have longer ranges than like the 2,000 /2 kilometer range they currently have for dogfighting, really, and that long range weapons will be able to bombard planets from orbit and things like that. How long do you think it will take for a group of under 5 players to earn an Idris? I know it's hard to put a number on it, but are we talking 100 hours, 500 hours, 1,000 hours, 2,000 hours? I think it'll be a project for maybe a quarter. If 5 players play very regularly on Star Citizen and do reasonably well and leverage their earnings as they get more and more, maybe they could earn it in like 3 months or so. Although it might be longer. Maybe I'm thinking maybe it's more like 3 months for 20 players. We don't 100% know. The economy is going to be relatively dynamic as well, so the prices of Idrises will change and ebb and flow. It's going to be a long-term project for a group. I'm not sure if an Idris is suitable for 5 players, to be honest. I suppose you can rent an NPC crew. But it's not just me having 30 frames per second then. No. The current patch is performance, has lots of performance problems. And it's to do with the generation of missions, the interdiction, the hacking stuff. It's caused some problems in the latest PTU patch. Hopefully it will be fixed later today. Do you think base destruction will be a thing in game to complement gameplay such as Orbital Strikes or Org Wars? So I'm hoping so, yes. So I would like to see space stations for the most part be disableable, maybe not destroyable, unless they have buildable space stations, in which case I would like to see them be entirely destroyed. But outposts on the ground that are player built, I want them to be able to be entirely destroyed. And the reason for that is that I suspect that when you're in the sort of like zero-sec space or the non-UEE zones where there's no security and law and it's Wild West, the way to dislodge another org or pirates or whatever from an area is to destroy their base. You entirely destroy it, bam, out of the system, because now they can't refuel, repair and rearm so easily and they have to get pushed to a different zone. Drop from a Hercules straight from after orbital bombardment. Bring the Iron Rain. With the current sizes of snubs and the 85X, do you think there's enough space on them to place all necessary ship components? Yeah. Yeah, I do. Snubs don't need quantum drives, and that's because of their size. The 85X does have quantum drive, but it's a bit bigger. Will there be a way to disable constant mission pop-ups? I fucking hope so. Oh my god. There will be a way at some point, almost certainly. It's really annoying at the moment, eh? I have to turn it off. Don't give me mission updates and contract manager updates, please. Thanks. If you've ever rolled your aircraft in-game using your keyboard, you probably notice it feels very twitchy and perhaps too quick. How do you feel about trying to roll speed, ship speed? Oh, tying roll speed to ship speed. I think roll speed should be tied to thruster speeds, amount of thruster output that you can get out, and the aerodynamics of the ship. They're dialing all that in. I mean, I quite like the idea, I suppose. I don't know. There's a load of stuff they need to do with hover mode and the new flight model as well. Like that, there's so much dialing in of that. Think they will? Do you think it will be considered a crime when you equip your Idris, Jav, Kraken with military components? UE don't want you to don't want civilians to have militarized ships. I think that some components might be illegal or get you a fine if you've got them on your ship or whatever in certain jurisdictions. Obviously, there is a law system now and jurisdictional stuff. So I think that yeah, some components and things like that might be finable or illegal in some areas. I think military components in general, it would be hard for you to get like an A class military, whatever, yeah, for most ships. But even if it's a capital system, that's going to be incredibly expensive. So, I mean, maybe some of those giant capital class, A class military components, maybe they are just be entirely illegal. Just people in sort of like the non-UE zones just floating around with them. I have a few buddies that have the game but haven't played in years since there was a lack of things to actually do. Do you feel 3.6 will offer us enough for us to reinstall and enjoy? It will for at least the short term. I'm not sure if it's going to have enough long-term gameplay. 3.6 at the moment. Really, we need true persistence and progression for Star Citizen to be more casually playable and sort of like more enjoyable for a lot of people that want to sit down and play. So probably not at the moment. If you're a Star Citizen tourist, then continue being a Star Citizen tourist, probably in 3.6. But I bet it's got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours that you'd be like really excited for. Star Citizen is very much alpha still. It's about sort of like testing the game, giving feedback on those modules, messing around. If you've got the right org, there's probably thousands of hours of fun that you can have in 3.6, but you need the right group. If there's only a few of you, there might be some other games that are more fleshed out that would be more suitable for your time. Board, can you ask them about having first-person view and third-person view on the same screen? I think that would help. Huh? Hi, Board, with the current sizes of snubs. We talked about that. How is the hacking working, sir, as I'm confused with all the videos? So basically, you buy a crypto key or a chip, yeah? Buy one of these chips. I go to Grimhex typically, where Ruto is in Grimhex. On the counter there, you can buy some hacking chips. Buy a hacking chip, then you equip it on your equipment manager into your utility slot. You can then, when you're outside of Grimhex, pressing 4 will grab your crypto key out. You can go to Commorrays or to Security Post Korea and a few other outpost locations, I believe, and use a crypto key by pulling it out, walking up to what you want to hack. There's a little slot in it, you hold F, and it will say insert. You put your crypto key in there, and then it will start hacking the system. So if it's a Commorray, that will allow you to turn off and on the Commorray. If it's in Security Post Korea or some of the other outposts, that will allow you to hack down your security rating. So if you're a criminal, you can hack that down. The chips are, I believe, one use only and require you, based on the chip you bought, to interact with the screen occasionally. It will go, oh, you need to press continue within 60 seconds, otherwise this stops. So that's the hacking mechanic at the moment. It's so super basic. Hopefully it will be more interactive. I'm hoping this sort of thing, like give me a pipe puzzle to do. Give me multiple pipe puzzles to do. If I do them quickly, make the hacking end quicker. Something like that. Give me lots of little mini games. I'm hoping Star Citizen is feature full of mini games in the future for lots of the for lots of like things like e-warfare and hacking and stuff like that. Ask them about having first and third person view on the same screen. Would be like Pip on TV. Picture on TV. What? Oh, I see. Picture on picture like that. I think they probably want to move away from having third person at all, unless there's like a drone behind you floating around showing that picture, like have a third person camera anyway. But maybe that's how they would do it. Maybe they'd picture, I don't know. Maybe? Babylon 5, total conversion for Star Citizen, yeah. Battlestar Galactica, there's Star Trek, there's loads and loads and loads of them, isn't there, they could do. Does the Idris K have same Aegis military components like the Idris M shield generators? By the way, I love your detailed vids. So the Idris K is just a kit for an Idris P or an Idris M to give it a beam weapon and up different turrets and different sort of like loadout like that. The Idris K would technically be an Idris that's modified in such a way, but would only have the components of the base Idris that you use or what you've upgraded them to. Notice that this year's CitizenCon takes place November 2019, which happens to be the time frame of Blade Runner. Okay. Got Cyberpunk. No, I love Cyberpunk as well. I've already bought a copy. I'm excited for Cyberpunk. What commercial opportunities will there be in the Atlantic Jump? And do you know how balanced it will be to other jobs, mining, bounty hunting, etc.? Don't know how balanced it's going to be with mining and bounty hunters and stuff like that. There'll be a variety of missions that you'll be able to do, I suspect. It is basically a capital ship, so it's going to have a load of ability to do missions that require larger ships, and that you can run it as a base of operations. There's the expectation that you'll be able to do VIP transportation, stuff like that as well. But yeah, probably quite a solid multi-role large ship, and the ability to do like VIP missions and taking dignitaries around and things like that. Don't know how balanced it's going to be gameplay-wise though, so... into any RTS games. So I used to be massively into real-time strategy games, stuff like Command & Conquer Generals. It's probably one of my favourite games ever. Not so much anymore, just because there's not that many strategy games there that I'm into at the moment. But I would happily jump and play a load of strategy games again. Apology was pretty fucking cool. What do you prefer, the Idris or the Polaris? The Idris. Polaris is cool though. In 3.6, did they fix the ladder grabbing annoyance? Like in the Starfarer, going towards the cockpit, being forced onto the ladder. Haven't checked. I haven't noticed it so much though, but I'm pretty good at not interacting with the ladders when I pass by things, just from hours played. When we launch from the A90 jump hangar in motion, will we leave the physics grid the moment we leave the pad, slamming us into the back wall of the hangar? Well, hopefully that will all be sorted already, so hopefully not. When do you think they'll update the roadmap for Q2 2020? I think once 3.6 goes live, maybe like a week after. I expect it sort of like at the end of this month. That's what I'm expecting. That Cyberpunk 2077 comes before Squadron 42, so I have time to finish it before Squadron 42 comes out. Yeah. They don't want to compete with other feature games, but I'm sure a couple will be coming out. Hey Board, new shield tech for 3.6 wasn't implemented yet. So what they've done is they've started to put the base and sort of like the framework for the new side and distance field tech for shields. In the short term, they've rebalanced shields and they've tweaked the way shields look, but the side and distance field tech isn't there yet. Post Mr. G after this? Yes, of course. I love Mr. G's face. Will they have a concept sale in July? Yes, so I'm expecting either a concept sale or a straight to flyable ship with 3.6 live. Or vehicle. There are apparently lots of promotions they've got planned for 3.6 going to live as well. So, but yeah, I'd expect something new in July when it comes to a ship or a vehicle. Do you know if they're going to fix the freeze bug while doing delivery missions that caused my whole PC to freeze many times in 3.5.1? I would expect that's already fixed. I haven't noticed that in 3.6. What is the performance like for Shadow at the moment? I'm seriously considering it. In the latest PTU patch, probably not great, because the N patch is performance sort of like... It's a major problem with performance. There's lots of bugs with it. However, previous patch that I actually used Shadow on in 3.6.0M, really fucking good. It's going to be JQ Star. It's going to be based on your internet. And if you've got a good internet connection, then Shadow, the PC Shadow gives you, is pretty fucking slick. Go to run it at 1080 to 1440p at high settings pretty well. Did I hear that ship explosive decompression is going to be a thing? That looks like to be the plan. Yeah. So there's a room system. There's a sort of like it tracks what's in the room, pressure, the position of that. And if you open a door, it goes into space. It should suck everything out. Will you make a FOIP and a VoIP tutorial for 3.6? Yeah, I will happily get, and head tracking and all that sort of stuff. Why do you think the prices for CitizenCon get more expensive every year? I think it's just because of the venue they've gone for. Expensive for venues in the UK. Hey, Bored. We haven't spoken, but I watch a lot of your stuff. I just wanted to say thanks for all you do covering Star Citizen. Thank you very much, Brent, whatever your name is. Very much appreciated, thanks. Now that they're working on very large asteroids and cargo tech for the Hull series, do you think we will have the Orion in 3.8 or 3.9? No. I think that ship is massive, and I think it'll maybe end of next year, but I do think it's a while out. Bored, what is your animal spirit? Maybe a wolf? In the Steam sale, I was a pig. Go Team Pig. The worst of all the teams. I heard in an earlier patch they made some minor changes to the mining mechanics. What did they change? So they've clustered minables together. So when you do a scan, you'll see like a load of rocks together, and the composition of those rocks will typically be quite similar. So if you find like a laranite vein somewhere around yellow, then there's loads of laranite asteroids and minables near it, which is really good. Lots of little quality of life updates. Obviously, it's been tweaked for the new flight model and stuff like that as well. Scanning's been improved. Way the numbers are worked out for rock resistance and difficulty and that sort of stuff. There's been a good amount of improvements. I will do some little mining gameplay update video at some point. When do you think we will get true persistence? I was hopeful for this year. I mean, it's a possibility they might be trying to get it in for 3.8. They are testing server-side object container streaming, which is apparently part and parcel of true persistence. Server-side object container streaming will be coming together, apparently. And they've been doing internal testing for that and having good results. Hoping that comes this year. It makes sense that it does as well for 3.8 because they'll want to get in microtech. So. Build on the third-person subject. Could a possible solution instead be armors with look-behind cameras? Yeah, I mean, yeah, you could have a little Death Stranding baby flash arm going like that, looking around. Yeah, I can imagine third-person arm rather than a floaty drone. That makes sense as well. Have they balanced the stamina system in 3.6? I don't know. I haven't specifically tested stamina stuff. When I log in the area where the chat box goes, it has a speaker icon and a number. What does that mean and how do you use it? That is saying that I think that you're in like channel, that's the local channel that you're currently talking in. So that'll be the area of space that you're in or whatever, but you're effectively local in the local voice chat for that area. If you hold your push to talk button, which I believe is plus, you'll be talking to other people that are in that area. Anyone know what ground vehicle the carrot comes with? Is it the Lynx? No, it comes with the Pisces Snubcraft. They'll do an event where they replace Port Olisar. Probably not. I mean, a while ago they did show a kingship and a little Vandal fleet or whatever turn up and attack Port Olisar. Cool if they did do something like that, even if it's just sort of like on a Star Citizen, inside Star Citizen or something. But once we have once they have them working towards the new cargo stations, probably around the same time that they get the cargo stations in or just before, they'll release the new Port Olisar type station. Would we be able to enter every corner of the new very big space stations? Looks great. Yes, some areas of them, maybe not every area. Some of those you'll be able to sneak in or hack into as well in the future is the idea. I'm not sure to what extent they'll be fully explorable, but they'll be significantly more explorable and different in 3.7. And then obviously it's an iterative process and they're going to keep on adding bits and bobs to that and then hopefully we'll get missions and reasons to be there and stuff that you can steal and all that sort of stuff. Just wondering if you know if the way airlocks are handled on rest stops, force fields are going to be used on some ships in the future, as some ships don't have proper airlocks, question mark. So, as far as I'm aware, most ships have most doors and ships and areas have airlocks and bulkheads that close to seal the room or whatever. The Prowler has that shield tech that Baron use to cover doors and ways, and I suspect that some other ships might have that, but not very many, as far as I'm aware. That is working great for me. If you have at least 50 megabits per second, it's definitely worth it. I do. Yeah, I love Shadow. I'm a massive Shadow fanboy. Mercury Star runs straight to flyable. Oh, it's already been in concept cell, so no. Why would it be straight to flyable? That doesn't make any sense. They've already got concept cell on it, so it can't be straight to flyable. Straight to flyable basically is without a concept cell, so they don't go, it's going on concept, guys. They just go, aha, surprise, this ship's ready, and you didn't even know about it. However brilliant, and hopefully Squadron 42 Episode 1 is, how short qualifies as, oh damn, what was that it? About my sexual technique. I don't know. If it's less than 20 hours, I'll be like, huh. I'd like to be able to get like 70 hours of gameplay out of it. Total. So like I play through the 30 hours. Hoping it's more closer towards 40, but how many scopes and variants of it do you have for 3.6 guns? So it's a red dot, a 2 telescopic. You've got a 1 times red dot. You've got a 3 times holographic, and a 4 times telescopic and an 8 times telescopic, which you can put on lots of different guns. The pistols can take the 1 and 3 times scope, I believe. Do you think ship rentals will be realistically priced based on mission-unlike purchases? Huh? I think that if you want to rent a ship for 1 or 3 days or whatever, they'll be relatively well priced. Whatever, I mean, they're going to allow people to use a ship pretty quickly rather than buy one, so. I think a lot of people will be renting ships rather than buying them in a lot of situations. Do we refer to concept ships and straight to flyable ships as introductory ships? Bomber is such a mouthful. I don't know. How do you picture personal FPS mining would work? Use a mining tool, like a hacking tool, or on a rock, or maybe a little tiny pickaxe, beep, 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 beep. Or maybe you put satchel charges on things. There's a 3 times scope as well, I'm pretty sure. Yep, confirmed. How long is the Bengal? I know the Kingship's 3 kilometers long. Is the Bengal 1700 meters? Bengal Star. Last listed at 990 meters. Probably grown in size since then. Floating drone makes sense. A camera arm or a floating drone for third person, I'd probably be okay with. Work with ships as well. You could have third person camera, or it could simulate If I own a big ship later, like the Bengal or something, would I be able to call something through some speakers and microphones, like tea time, so everyone in the hangar will know it's tea time? Yeah, I believe there's going to be comm systems on ships so you can talk to people. That is the plan. Raging Sage, thank you very much for the resub. Very much appreciated, sir. Have they discussed modules? I have Retaliator Base and have not had a peep about it. Quite frustrating. So they've talked a little bit recently about modules, sort of like, we know that you're going to be able to change modular rooms, and this is like the large modular sections of some ships. You might need specialist facilities to do that, though. So you might have to go to a particular shipyard or whatever, or large landing zone, whatever, and you're able to swap that stuff out. So, and that's what the battlefield upgrade kits for the vanguards are. They allow you to swap those bits out. Also, you'll be able to swap those interior modular rooms between the vanguards. But we don't know when that sort of functionality will be there for the Caterpillar, for the Retaliator, for the vanguards and that sort of stuff. I'm expecting it next year. Unconfirmed. Is the map fixed now? It previously showed names of planets nowhere near the locations. I believe last time I used it, it was okay. It was working a lot better than it had been in the PT previously. When do you think CRUL2 will be in place now that we have Delamar moved? Oh, that's a good point, actually. We need the station there, don't we? They might chuck it in for 3.6's release. With new space station designs and their very large size, will they now contain HABs? So in 3.7, they are adding a load of new interiors to those stations, with like the hab areas, component areas, big foyers, that sort of stuff, and marrying the external and internals together. So expect stuff like that potentially from then. So Mantis is apparently a fighter ship with interior and 30 meters long. What do you think about it, Board? It's an unconfirmed rumor, but it was from the Star Citizen leaks, and I do believe there is going to be an RSI Mantis. But yeah, I think it's very possible we'll see that at CitizenCon. I want to see another heavy fighter. I think that's it. It's a good idea. RSI doesn't really have any, fighters. Any updates on the Reclaimer? As I know you are a fan as well as me, such an awesome ship. I'm expecting it to have the functionality and some updates for salvage in 3.8, but no other updates beyond that. Any new talk on the release of NPC crew or AI slices? Maybe not called that. AI blades. Computers that will be able to then put modules in turrets so that the turret is automated, basically. No, so we don't have any further information on that. I would expect that sort of stuff will be after Squadron 42 Episode 1, once they've got better AI. Is there any word on whether or not party cooperative missions will be available or a reliable way to split money with your teammates? So, not in 3.6, they haven't got the mission sharing gameplay yet, but I'm expecting it in 3.7. That's not confirmed, that's just Todd Pappy who said, it's not in 3.6, but we're working on it. When will we have blind jump? We're not sure if we're going to have blind jumps. They might put it back in, they might not. There will be ways of exploring and stuff like that, though. So maybe it will be you scanning things down and travelling to unknown points. But being able to jump on the star map, but maybe not entirely blind jumps. When the game went into full persistence and the game is finished anytime, would they add more ships and planets? Yes. Are custom images on ships being discussed? I believe they talked about custom decals. I'm not sure where that's gone. I know you're going to have a lot of choice when it comes to aftermarket customization of your ships, when it comes to how they look and cool decals and things. But I think custom images were being discussed, but it's whether it's viable or not. What did you envision Titan suits being in the game? Do you think they should go toe-to-toe with some ships, or do you have an idea of what brand they'll be? Perhaps Aegis or... Okay, so that's actually... So, Titan suits are being potentially completed by Q4 this year. And they look like they can hold a size 2 ship weapon. So that I think they'll have a mixture of utility-based, like cargo loader mount type things they can do, as well as good weapon selection. I think they should be reasonably good at repelling troops, vehicles, but maybe making a ship think twice before just, you know, hovering around. They're going to be able to deal damage to ships, especially in atmosphere, but they're not going to be like the best things in the world. They're going to be able to, like, I mean, unsupported, they're going to get blasted by a ship, surely. But they're going to be more like exosuits. They're going to be more like Iron Man rather than a mech. So like a cross between Iron Man and a power loader from Alien. That's what I'm expecting. Maybe they'll be able to do some mining as well. Does customization remove or minimize the need for ships like the Heartseeker? Yeah, I mean, yeah, I can see what you mean there. They could just do skins and stuff available on that particular day. Something like that. Could Squadron 42 be used as a send-off for Olisar? Maybe a defensive mission. Station becomes unusable. Unlikely. I think they just replace it. Cool, Simon Morris. I will check out that soundtrack. No worries. I do love Pedro's music, and I love a load of the unofficial stuff that other people have made. I actually had a composer contact me the other day to say, look at my stuff! And I will. I will look at his stuff later. But what do you think about this month's backer award? They seem very bland and repetitive. I haven't actually... I've got the thing up on my screen. Let's have a look. Subscriber 2949 subscriber flare. In July, Centurions will receive the Stegman's Cordamon Voyager complete outfit that's been a staple of both functionality and utilitarian fashion all around the universe for well over 70 years. This exclusive edition makes a bold statement, red, black, and gold, and is sure to turn heads in smoky dives, as well as upscale establishments. Oh my god, I can't read. Blah, 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 blah. This complete outfit includes a hat, jacket, gloves, and boots. Okay, so you get a full set of clothes. Okay, it's not amazing looking. Emperators get Pathfinder complete outfit as well. Loading up, but okay. For an active subscriber, these will be on your account on July 10th. If you aren't a subscriber, you can still receive them as part of your subscription, as long as you subscribe before the 15th. So we know that they are going to be putting in some cool subscriber things. So like the holographic helmet, and like the Centurion helmet that they've got planned, and they're planning to do some really cool subscriber flair to encourage people to sub. So a full outfit, yeah, that's alright. That's alright as a subscriber, sort of like additional subscriber flair or whatever. This sort of stuff isn't for me. I want really unique, cool looking things. If I'm gonna have subscriber flair. So, right. Any management changes anticipated beyond what we've already recently seen are the ones we got, good or bad. So, I mean, it's not much really change in management. They added Sandy Gardner and replaced Dan Offner when it comes to people on the board. It's just someone replaced the Calder's investment guy there. Beyond that, that's changed management-wise. And that's sort of like pretty irrelevant anyway, really, seeing that Chris Roberts controls the full board anyway. So, They shoot scenes for the next game, part of the game now, or wait for the game's release? I'm assuming they haven't. I mean, they might have some bits already for Squadron 42 episode 2. I expect that their main focus is getting Squadron 42 episode 1 done, though. The Hull C is supposed to be standard cargo hauler around the first. Can we expect it to be a lot cheaper purchasing in-game than real money, and perhaps around 1 to 2 million or cheaper? The sort of like, the economy is going to be dynamic. It's going to be based on the price of the components and the hull and the manufacturer time and the supply and demand of them. So game economy is going to be dynamic. Do you think salvage gameplay will include cutting into and forcing entry into ships? Yes. Salvage gameplay is going to have you opening bits of ships up, removing weapons and items, using salvage charges to blow stuff up, probably using hacking tools as well. I'm a little hungover, just so people know. They're like, oh, Bored looks unwell, or like he's dying. How do you report bugs and glitches in the PU? Via the issue council. If you go to the Star Citizen website and you hover over development and click on issue council, you can report bugs directly there. It goes through how to do it. Any other actors and actresses you want to see in Squadron 42 or subsequent games? I mean, I think everyone wants to see Keanu Reeves now, don't we? Rob Dreamweaver, thank you very much for the cheer. Very much appreciated. Love your face, mate. Kisses. Not seen you here before, but maybe it's because you're a lurker. Maybe it's because you're like, that BoredGamer, I've just discovered him. He's amazing. He talks sometimes about Star Citizen. What kind of performance improvement do you think we can expect from server-side object container streaming or from server meshing? So server meshing will be a huge performance improvement. Server-side object container streaming with full persistence should be pretty good as well. That will literally enable them to stand by certain zones where there aren't any players to varying degrees of size and get a huge amount more server for performance. And server meshing is several magnitudes beyond that performance-wise. It allows areas to be run by different servers and then the information to be seamlessly passed over to each other. And that will allow for huge amounts more players and fix a huge amount of the performance and server degradation bugs that we have. They're both essential for the game. Will Port Olisar be replaced as a spawn for everyone who will enter the game for the first time? In the standard system, yeah, it's going to get replaced with another station, but probably... Oh, I see what you mean. Maybe the Port Olisar won't be the standard spawning location in the future. I don't know. The standard system in the for at least the short to medium term, it will be though. Worries, thanks for asking questions. Very much appreciated, peoples. Which is the worst publisher, Activision, Bethesda, or EA? Probably EA. EA just seem too aggressively predatory and don't care, like the boxes and sort of like the way they defend themselves. So I think they're the most they're the most anti-consumer. But Activision and Bethesda and people like that, they all have their bad points. I mean, even Star Citizen, has terrible points because they're obviously self-publishing. I mean, their stuff's really slow. Without a proper publisher, they can take as long as they want. So you could argue that that's a good thing, but it's also a bad thing because it's taking longer. Ups and downsides of all publishers, even if they self-publish. But when it comes to being terrible publisher, I think probably EA. For me, anyway. You think we'll hear anything about the Endeavour anytime soon? Probably not. I think that's one of their last ships they'll probably complete. When Squadron 42 gets released, what do you think of giving people who purchased Squadron 42 access to Star Citizen without a ship? And they're going to want to sell Star Citizen. It's potentially, maybe potentially they'll have people with Squadron 42 or everyone just have access to Arena Commander and Star Marine. Do you think they can do orgies like an Eyes Wide Shut on the 890 jump? Yeah, fuck it, why not? That's what the 890 jump owners, 890 jump owners club is all about. Spotty microphone performance. I'll get closer, mate. I'll get closer to my mic. Oh. Hunadu. Hyundai. Houdini. Thanks for putting up with my questions about Brexit and all that you do in Star Citizen. What are your current thoughts on Brexit and its possible effects on Star Citizen? So, Brexit will have some effect on Star Citizen, even if it's very minor, and probably will just be very minor. The free movement between the German and UK office might cause them to Skype more than visit the studios, things like that, or more likely to meet up in America than the UK, or whatever. But it's going to be probably pretty minor. It could cause different sort of like prices and tax breaks and costs of running in some places. So I expect it to be a small monetary sort of like drain on Star Citizen. I'm expecting it to be potentially not beneficial to start with. Maybe in a few years they'll get more tax breaks for being a gaming company in the UK or Germany or something. So I would expect a monetary drain of a small amount because of Brexit on the UK and German studios. I've asked many times whether they are going to put music tracks back for Hurston, but CIG never responds. Can't figure out if it's bug or intentional. Expect there to be a music track for Hurston. That's in the game again soon. There is one for Hurston already. So, how many servers are used for the persistent universe? I don't actually know how many servers they actually have. I rewatched a few of Todd Pappy's chats, and it's pretty clear that not only big secret things coming with 3.8 and CitizenCon, but also secret reveals with 3.7 if they don't leak. With a lot of ships getting space for components, do you think they are going to add space for the spare components? I haven't seen spare component space. I suspect that in a lot of ships, especially the medium-sized ones and stuff, there are cupboards and stuff that you can put components in. But subcomponents are probably also going to be used to help get a component back to life for a short-term period. You heard that Todd Howard is trying to buy out CIG. Would it be better to leave the doors open for components so they can be swapped faster, or having the doors... having the door open kill power to the component? I expect when you actually open the door for most components, they actually eject, so it might not be the best idea. That's what I would like to see in the future. What's the limit of your knowledge about Star Citizen? I don't know too much about the lore, but it's sort of like I know most of what's going on in the current builds, and obviously I researched into the latest information on all of the gameplay mechanics they've got and the roadmap and stuff like that. My lore is probably the weakest area of my knowledge. I've got some CIG contacts which I do get information from when I poke them. I'm not sure if they're supposed to be giving me information and stuff like that though. It's not huge amounts. What do you think CIG is hiding from us when they would be, say, like, here you didn't know about, but is some cool stuff? I hope you know what I mean. Yeah, there's stuff that's not on the roadmap that they're working on. Ships, vehicles, mechanics, locations, lots of different things. Interesting, cool stuff. Some of it we're going to see at CitizenCon, some of it we'll see in 3.6 or 3.7 or 3.8. But that's like the Mantis and the Blister and potentially a load of other stuff as well. But we don't know because they haven't told us. Shouldn't you be able to play Star Citizen with no ship and have enough gameplay to grind first ship? Or why do you need to start with a ship? Well, they're going to want to sell people with at least a starter ship, because that's just sensible to do. You'll probably be able to play without using that starter ship. That they need ways of doing that though, so if you run out of money or you're waiting for a long time for your ship or whatever, that you can restock vending machines in Port Olisar, or you can work in a shop there, or you can easily get a mission where you're a crewman. Because a lot of people are just going to live on a planet, or just be crew. Has anyone ever heard of sunk cost fallacy? Yes. He's repeated it. Individuals commit the sunk cost fallacy when they continue behaviour or endeavour as a result of previously invested resources and time. This fallacy, which is related to loss aversion and status quo bias, can be viewed as bias resulting from an ongoing commitment. For example, individuals who sometimes order too much food and overeat just to get their money's worth. Yes, I mean, sunk cost fallacy is a thing. You could probably argue that it's in Star Citizen with people buying huge amounts of ships and the game still being an alpha. Sunk cost fallacy is sort of like commonplace in a huge amount of things, with gambling, with hobbies, with all that sort of stuff. Don't buy lots of shit and then buy more shit to make yourself not worry about it. I think that's the basic thing you can take from that. People do it with clothing, people do it with eBay, people do it with every individual object and cars and that sort of shit. I think a lot of people will say, well, not a lot of people, some very small amount of very vocal, angry trolls typically will say that Star Citizen is entirely based on sunk cost fallacy, which is, I think, demonstrably untrue. But, I mean, there's certainly elements of that in any hobby or anything where you have to buy ships and that sort of stuff. I would just say, buy it all in game, just get a starter pack, bam, done. Some people aren't able to control spending, but that's true of all things. I don't think Star Citizen's way of fundraising is particularly sort of like predatory. It's not gambling. It's not sort of like, you might get this cool thing, you know what you're buying before you buy it. It's not the most pro-consumer thing in the universe. That's true, but it's certainly not as bad as a loot box or EA and stuff. So that's my opinion on that. Should they make a model for poop in the toilet after you use it? No, it should instantly flush. And then they wouldn't have to have poops for girls, because girls don't poop. The obligatory question about the 6th degree of Freedom Space Mouse. I haven't tried it yet. I've got it somewhere in my drawers. I haven't even tried the PS4 that I bought, and Horizon Zero Dawn yet. And I got it like a week ago. With all leaks coming from the avocados, should they just kill the NDA, since so many don't respect it? No, they should just have really harsh, aggressive sort of like punishments for it. I keep on getting accused in some of the groups of leaking EVOCATI information. I literally fucking don't. I literally don't, and I'm in more contact with the CIG, and they would tell me and poke me if I was doing anything like that. I do talk about leaks in the form of, well, I talk about EVOCATI in the form of the EVOCATI patch is out. Going to be some time before it's going to open PT or wider PT or whatever, but that's pretty much all I do. So I've noticed some people just, I think the term is haters, but I fucking hate that term. Just randomly say, oh, BoredGamer does this or his shit or whatever, but get that sort of like this weird thing. It's like, just don't watch my stuff. If you don't like my stuff, don't watch it. If you don't like Star Citizen, don't watch informational Star Citizen videos by someone that clearly enjoys the game and enjoys it. It's just, I don't understand. Actually, I saw someone saying in one of the groups, BoredGamer had a guide for Star Citizen that CIG had to make an official statement about not to use. That's entirely a lie and untrue. But I've seen that go round from someone on the on one of the Reddit discords or something like that. As far as I'm aware, it's a lie. I did have a user.cfg guide, which I had put at the top of it. Using these in PTU will skew results they want for PTU, so try not to use them in PTU unless otherwise advised, which I think CIG also mirrored the sentiment, but that's not a guide. But, you know, I think it's a weird sort of behaviour in my, cool with people having disagreeing opinions and having issue with my content, whatever, but weird to have random lies, what I've deemed or understand as lies anyway. I assume people don't believe that sort of shit, but I went on a bit of a rant there. Hungover time. We'll be able to buy a station to place in space where NPCs and players can come to buy things. They haven't talked about player-owned buildable stations. There was a stretch goal for player-managed stations to some extent. So we know there's going to be outposts that you can build using the Pioneer. So on the ground, yes. We're not sure if you're going to be able to build them in space. And we're not sure if you're going to be able to own stations yourself. But I suspect there will be some sort of gameplay like that. Are you able to interact with the console in Security Post Career? I can insert a chip in. Yes, but typically, at the moment, in the end patch, that'll break the console and no one else can ever interact with it again. Yes, it doesn't crash anymore when you approach it. How certain are you that the mantis won't be on sale before the anniversary? I'm not certain at all. I don't know. I don't have a source for that beyond people poking me about it being on the Star Citizen leaks. But yeah, it could be in 3.6. Will there be any survival mechanics like Thirst, Hunger, Sleep? I hope not. Yes, there are going to be. There's a server, there's the player status system coming in 3.8, and that will track things like Thirst, Hunger, Rest, Inebriation. Expect it to be incredibly light survival mechanics, though. If you don't drink or sleep or poo or whatever, then you just get like a light debuff. Your stamina, like your stamina will go down. Your ability to breathe oxygen effectively will go down, basically, so you won't be able to run for as long or whatever. I think it's a business model based 100% on sunk cost fallacy. Well, I thought you might think that. Well, I don't agree. Backers who are funded for $1,000 feel like the game development will get better with more money, and yeah, that's probably true. The development of the game probably does benefit from more money. That's probably demonstrably true. I don't think those backers should feel like they need to put in the money themselves, or even encourage other people to get put in money. But that is probably a true thing. And of course, they don't want to lose their initial $1,000 investment. I think that more money does potentially improve the game or help development, or at least help development. I think if people, you don't need to put any money like that in, and if people are thinking that their $1,000 worth of ships is going to give them this huge boost in game or advantage, then they're probably wrong. You can much more argue that on a pay-to-win basis rather than a sunk cost fallacy basis, in my opinion. But I think that probably some people's brains are wired like that, but I think the vast majority, by several magnitudes, are not wired like that. And people don't. There's going to be some whales and stuff, but I suspect that they've got the money to lose as well. Hopefully not too many people have that sort of feeling. Why do you link information on stripper potatoes? Will I be able to customize my pet giant sandworm? I'm not sure if we'll be able to have a pet sandworm, although pets are supposed to be in game. I'm not sure what size they'll be. Is this latest patch actually playable? I tried last night and ended up being forced to constantly look left. I haven't had that problem. There's problems with performance in this latest patch, and there's problems with hacking missions being constantly generated, and some of the hacking consoles breaking and interdiction, and that's causing a lot of knock-on effects with performance. Why you look so tired? Because I'm tired and hungover. I went out last night and drunk a lot. Are they Samurai Ninja Mutant Ninja Turtles? Yes, I am indeed hungover, Steve. You're doing a fine job. Detractors will always take things out of context. No, I've got no problems with people thinking that having problems with the project, or being critical, or having differing opinions from me, or whatever. It's just the sort of like statement of fact on certain things I don't like. I'm happy to be wrong. I'm happy to have my mind changed and talk about certain things, but it's just statements of fact which are presented. Just this. ugh. It's weird statements which are clearly anecdotal, which are presented as statements of fact, typically, that I don't like. Or people saying it is this. Or when someone starts saying something, I know exactly what their opinion's going to be because it's very NPC opinion. And I was like, oh, okay, well, you're allowed to have that, and that's fine. I do not agree. But yeah, I'm willing to listen and stuff. Always treat people with civility and respect for the most part. It's best currently available webcam for VoIP. Don't really know at the moment. There is going to be the faceware cam, which I think is really, really going to be the best possible experience. A C920 is pretty slick for it. It's good price point for a camera. Wait for Prime Day, which is going to be like next week or whatever, and you'll have picked one up for like $30 or something probably. Will Squadron 42 be open world game with story? No, it's not going to be like GTA 5 open world. It's going to be reasonably on rails because you are a military pilot and they are pushing a story. It will have some quite expansive areas and it will have the ability to go off the beaten path and do lots of side quests and stuff, but I suspect it to be reasonably on rails. Why are people worried about what other people are willing to spend on the game? I mean, there's a consumerism sort of thing that you don't want companies to be overly predatory with their tactics and stuff like that. So, I mean, that's why people get so annoyed at EA, because they try to overly monetize stuff. And you certainly argue with that with Star Citizen. That is their funding model moral? Then you can decide, well, it's capitalism and business, so probably not, but it's irrelevant because, you know, capitalism doesn't really take into morality into sort of like its view, unless it can then quantify it with money by saying, well, we get bad press from this, that's morality, and so we need to do something about it. That's typically the way that the big publishers react about stuff anyway. I'm not saying that's in all situations, and I'm sure some generally are good, but yeah. But taking offence and taking sort of like, I'm offended on behalf of you or on behalf of these people is just a ridiculous thing as well. Like, oh, I don't spend all the money, but it's a problem because other people do. Okay, well, I don't agree. I hope that not a huge amount of people have that sort of not wired that way, where they're spending money they can't afford on a game and they're spending more money to sort of like for the habit. I don't see sunk cost fallacy in Star Citizen personally. I don't think people buy more ships because they're worried that their other ships won't exist. I think they buy more ships because they want more ships. I think they buy more ships because they want to support the game if they're a whale and they have the money. But I don't think it's sunk cost fallacy. I just don't agree. I can't see. I mean, I'm certainly wired in the fact of risk reward. Like, I'm not gonna. If I put $1,000 in something, I'm not gonna put another $1,000 if I'm worried about my original investment. Sunk cost fallacy does work on certain things, and like gambling and stuff like that. But I don't think it works on Star Citizen spaceships. Although I'm sure there's videos out there that say otherwise. But again, opinion, anecdote. Will you continue to make legendary FOIP intros for your videos? Yes, and I will bring back properly Safety Boy, and potentially some other characters. I don't think it's just people hating on other people. I think that some people just have differing opinions, and some people get angry or not great at sharing those opinions in a civil way. I think some people's opinions are seen as attack when they're not. Some people take offence on behalf of like CIG and Star Citizen, which they shouldn't. It's not anyone's job to defend Star Citizen beyond, I suppose, the community managers or Chris Roberts and the devs themselves when they're talking about stuff on inside Star Citizen. So. Star Citizen could be like cancer to the solo player, like Eve once it comes out. Is it org or get lost? No, I think there'll be some people that are able to play solo, but it depends on what sort of gameplay you want to do with that. It might be incredibly hard in certain areas of space where they're like the Wild West areas where there's no UEE presence with marauding bands of pirates and stuff. I mean, there's going to be stuff that you want to do in groups and want to do with an org, but you'll certainly be able to operate as a solo player. And that's the plan anyway. I think you're missing out on a load of gameplay not being in an org, though. Do I need anything besides being a subscriber on YouTube to win one of your giveaways? Yes, Joe's got more. There's in each of the videos, there's a little description, there's a little clicky click that you can go to see all of the rules for the giveaways. But basically, for the giveaway, you need to be subscribed to my YouTube channel, and then you need to comment on any of my videos made during the month. And then, basically, you can get effectively one entry per video I make during the month. Because what happens is, it's basically just random number generator on Google Docs. It goes, what video? Video 14, which is this video. So someone from video 14 is going to win, which is, I don't know, whatever it is at that time. And then it will randomly pick a comment. Basically, what happens is all those comments get compressed into just the name of the person that made the comment. If you made 30 comments on that one video, then it would still just be one entry, because it just compresses them all together, and then rolls. Number 388's one. Okay, that's this dude. Bam, comment, contact him. Done. Pretty fucking simple. I'll probably find a more clever way and more sort of like fancy way of doing it. Maybe do it on stream eventually or whatever, but... Enov, have a drink on me. Thank you very much. And G-Sup, thank you very much for the donations. Very much appreciated. I love your faces. I love money as well. I won't have a drink on you today because I'm fucking hungover. More whales! How about all those ships on eBay? Beware. Yeah, so grey market and eBay ships, just be careful of, because some of them are black marketed, some of them are grey marketed. Black market is stuff that is entirely against the eBay terms, the CIG terms of service. So that would be selling accounts. If you're selling a whole account, that is against their terms of service, I believe, and is not supported by them. So just be aware of that. Grey market stuff is, again, not supported by them, but it's grey market because they have no specific terms against it. They're just unable to support you if the trade goes bad or someone tries to refund their account or whatever. So just bear that in mind. If you're buying ships on eBay, if you're buying ships on Reddit, if you're whatever, buy from a trusted third party, sort of like the middleman service. Would be my suggestion if you do want to buy on that sort of stuff. But eBay, probably incredibly expensive, and digital goods. Oof. The only thing that offends me is people getting offended by every little thing. Yeah. Some people, I mean, I'm quite a grumpy, ragey person when I play games occasionally. You probably wouldn't have seen it. Maybe you'll see it when I stream, sort of like Apex or something. Whingy, I think I am. Whingy. PIG likes to prey on impulsive people. Their marketing is quite predatory. It's marketing to try and sell ships to help sort of like fund the game. All marketing is predatory in that term. They're not selling you cigarettes. They're not plastering all this stuff all over like kids' games so that they use their parents' credit cards or anything. It's marketing, and it targets sort of like an older age group of person that has large disposable incomes typically. So all marketing is predatory from everything in that sense. So yeah, maybe it is. I'd say it's less predatory than other marketing, but more predatory than no marketing. John just made a dolphin joke on porpoise. Do you think there will be another patch today? Yes, I think they will hopefully fix the performance issues today, and we might even see Open PTU today, or by the end of the weekend. Are you suggesting that Silverwolf saying the marketing tactics are exactly that? People need to manage their own money and not blame marketing. They're massive. That's massively true. There are some marketing tactics which are predatory gambling and like loot box mechanics are terrible. Yes. I don't think Star Citizen marketing's like that. I hope it's not. I don't think it is. But to then accuse Silver that's a psychopathic mentality, I think's a stupid thing to say. Indeed. Come on. Be civil! CIG trumps EA's microtransactions. It doesn't. That's just... I'm not just... I think you're literally just trying to provoke, rather than... I think that's very unreasonable, unfortunately. Will exploration be a viable career path? And how would you make money from it, if you can? So exploration, I'm expecting that allows you to go out and explore the edges of a system much more easily without having to return, and maybe you can go out a lot longer distances. So you'd potentially be scanning down points of interest, asteroid fields, and salvage sites, and like black holes, jump points, all that sort of stuff. Saving the information there, surveying it potentially for like what actual minerals are in this field, or whatever. Or maybe it's sort of like pirate bases or whatever, but it'll be the selling and buying of that information will heavily factor into exploration, in my opinion. But I think exploration is going to cover a load of different things, and with the science mechanics and that sort of stuff as well. So there's going to be a lot of crossover there. Seriously, love the whales. They're always supporting our beautiful game development. And it's true. I'm assuming they can afford and everything. I mean, there's a slight worry that obviously I don't want people spending money on ships that they can't afford. I think that's, but at the same time, it's not my money to spend. I'm not going to tell people what to do. I'm not their dad. I am a bit of a capitalist. CIG are more than, thanks to the whales, CIG are more than likely to continue to sell ships after the race. I think that's quite possible in the same way that Warframe sells Warframes. However, you say CIG will never abandon their money printing machine. Well, they're going to want to make money for the game. They're going to sell UEC, the in-game currency. But when they release a product like Squadron 42 and Star Citizen actually releases, that's when they make most of their money, or a huge amount of their money, actually having products to sell. The amount they get from ships will seem like a drop in the fucking ocean, comparatively. But yeah, I do expect them to monetize the game a bit beyond just UEC and voluntary subscribers and merch. Yeah, talked about that before. It's predatory when it's forced. It's predatory when it's sort of like they're potentially making it incredibly pay to win. So like having new ships every time, you can get them the earliest possible stage. If you buy them, you can't get them unless you buy them with real money, or each of the ships that we're making now that you buy is slightly better than the years before. Something like that. That's bullshit. That's terrible. But they're not doing that. So would you consider giving away extra bits every month, like BoredGamer shirts? Yeah, we could do that. I mean, I've got a load of last year's CitizenCon goodie packages. I've got a load of point of sale merch from CIG. Anytime I go to an office store, or anytime I'm able to, I try and, if they've got like a box of flyers that they're trying to get rid of or whatever, I'll take anything I can with Star Citizen logos on. There's some stuff we can probably give away. I'll try and get some stuff signed at CitizenCon this year, and then maybe give some of that stuff away. How often do you play Star Citizen? I've been playing since 2015, but I can say I haven't seen you quite a lot. Maybe, I know, maybe not that much. Maybe 12 hours a week, probably. Not a huge amount, but it's a good amount. When a patch goes live, I typically on a lot longer. BoredGamer next concept sale. I'm expecting to see something new this month. Whether that's going to be a concept sale or something straight to flyable, or maybe just lots of promotions for 3.6. Maybe the Vanguards in the ship customization system. What minigames would you like to see in Star Citizen? Checkers, chess, poker. So more, I'd like to see the hacking mechanic have like a pipe flipping minigame. Have things like that. So have some of these hacking and e-warfare and some of those sort of mechanics, have them have little minigames that I can play. I haven't noticed death stares in the latest two PTU patches. but I haven't been actively trying to run up and down stairs or ramps. Besides, I hate to admit this, but a person can possibly refund at least a large portion of their money if they have to by using the grey market, so it's not a total loss. Well, hopefully Star Citizen will be a good game. That's what I'm hoping. Squadron 42 will be good. Chris Roberts once said that it's not the whales, but the majority of their dollars comes from high volume of single-based package backers. Yeah, I mean, that is true. There's obviously a lot of money that's generated by people that spend thousands of dollars, but the majority of their money, I believe, is owned by people that have $100 or less in the game. I think first success will depend on Squadron 42's success. Makes sense. Yeah, so the core mechanics of Squadron 42 are the core mechanics for Star Citizen. And if Squadron 42 is good and successful, then it proves that they can make a good game. So people will naturally trust them for Star Citizen. It will become a lot more mainstream. I know, take a look at how CIG treats out lifetime insurance, as they want people to buy it with new cash and not credit. Yeah, that's true. But also, they have stated lifetime insurance is going to be not that great. To be honest, you're about to get insurance in-game on the whole. It's just a little tiny, tidbit to get people to more likely to buy a ship. They do want people to buy ships. They have marketing to get people to buy ships. They want people to spend money. They don't want people to entirely splurge all their money and be unable to eat. EA want all of the money because their board of directors wants all of the money. Chris Roberts wants to build a game and then probably make all of the money. But they'll get some games out first. People can buy ship weapons with real money. Yeah, they used to be able to buy ship weapons with real money, then they got rid of it. And now they've got the customization thing again, which is a terrible use of money. Why not just buy those items in-game? You can get better items and weapons in-game. It's not particularly sort of predatorily marked. Predatorily. Do you think that we will take our ships underwater? They are working on buoyancy and water physics and stuff like that. I'm expecting that some ships will be able to float. Maybe there will be boats or submarines or ways of... Yeah, I suspect you're about to just go underwater with your ship. Maybe. You think they're going to make the game free to play and then monetize everything? What? Okay. Disagree. Where would the release of the 890... Where would the release of the 890 first be announced? Huh? What? We believe it's going to be in a 3.6.1 or X patch. So, 4.3.7. Make minigames a bit more realistic for hacking, like solve basic math problems for real fast or something. Yeah, or you could have the Fallout hacking system where you could guess the word or something. But some minigames like that keep me entertained, keep me engaged. At the moment, it's like AFK simulator when you're hacking something, so... how hard do you think using jump points should be for the average size of that ship? Oh, I don't know. There could quite well be jump points that are sized so that only certain sizes of ship can use, but we don't know. Don't know what the current thinking on that is. Do you think they'll have server-side object container streaming ready for 3.7 on time? What? I'm not sure. Well, I don't know. We've got the information that server-side object container streaming is coming with 3.7. I think it's quite possible that it will come with 3.8. Should CIG sell weapon and component sets and set A and set B, or keep only one set per customized ship? I think if it's in game, then they should have loads and loads and loads of different options for manufacturer sell stuff, and it should be a cheaper bundle effectively. And I think if they're doing that outside of the game, they should sell weapons and items bundles pretty cheaply as well, because they're not the best thing you can get in game, and you can get components, especially for small ships, pretty cheap. Blood or no blood in Star Citizen? Will we get cleaning services or included in repairs. Well, there's definitely been blood on the floor. There's definitely murder scenes that I've got there, like cleaning up bodies and stuff, so I suspect there'll be some blood, but probably not much gore. They'll also probably have that so they can turn it off or just be entirely removed blood-wise for the China release. When using the star map to travel, once you get close enough to the location, it goes away, and the only way to see where you are is staying in quantum travel mode. Are they planning on fixing this? Yes! There was some problems with the star map. Hopefully that will get fixed. Any other questions? And Paz, I wasn't sure if you were a troll or being abrasive or whatever, or just that you knew, and I don't know how you talk, so apologies if you were just asking genuine questions and not trying to be abrasive or confrontational, which is absolutely fine. You're allowed to have a totally different opinion from other people, that's cool as well. Free to share your opinion as long as you're civil. So, cool. Hard to know the tone of what people are saying, or if they're sort of like, I'm only here to sow discontent, and this is my opinion, and I'm 100% correct. I was like, okay. Apologies if I was mistaken about that. So. Do you know about any medium-sized salvage ships? No, but I think it's a good idea to have a medium salvage and a medium mining ship. I think that's something they will fill in. Do you think that the 890 jump will increase in price upon release? Yeah, $890 limited hulls. Maybe still, maybe not increase in price. I think if they put it above $1,000, then it has to come with lifetime insurance again. So maybe they'll sell it for like $1,000. I don't know. So for Asian releases of games, more specifically China, they have to get rid of like skeletons and bones and blood and stuff like that, and missions that contain fraud. Some odd stuff because they don't like that over there. So there'll be some changes and differences. Almond Joy 2, I don't know what that is. Like almonds. The advert for the jump point makes sense. It seems like some kind of obstacle course. Do you think it will be an act or skill to jump points, unlike the quantum travel where you can go AFK? I don't know. I think mapped jump points might be just loading screens, effectively. Maybe unmapped ones might have a bit of a mini game to them where you have to navigate them. I'm not entirely sure. What are your current thoughts on the game so far? Love it as a project. It's starting to genuinely get some steam going. There are some good components and features coming online now. They're starting to actually prove they can do what they want to do. Really fucking slow, though. I think that I'm looking forward to Squadron 42 and some more information on that. But yeah, I love the game as a project at the moment. Thoughts on it as being a game at the moment? It's not a sit down and play game. It's very much an alpha. It's very much sit down and find bugs or test mechanics and say what you like and don't like. In my opinion, it's made huge progress in the last 2 years. Can it be considered an actual playable game right now, or with 3.6? Not really. There's no full persistence or true persistence, so there's no progression beyond every 3 months. Everything gets reset at the moment, so I wouldn't consider it a playable game in something that you can sit down and play, or is something more mainstream until at least has that. Dry brine steak always comes out too salty. What am I doing wrong? Probably. So you're probably having it in your brine mixture for too long, potentially, with your steak. I would wash the steak off entirely after you're brining and then before patting dry. Maybe even consider not overly seasoning the steak after you've brined it. Are you just using a salt for the brining, or using? Because you might want to consider putting some sugar with that, or putting some turmeric and stuff like that with it to try and offset the overly saltiness of it. Thanks for the stream board, always a pleasure. Thank you very much, I appreciate it. What is your stance on the whole friends with benefits thing? Seems a bit metrosexual for my taste. I think adults are allowed to, you know, do what they want with their sort of like relationships. I think if people, as long as people are honest with each other, I think everything's good. I would prefer it if people were just much more blunt and honest with everything they thought and felt and got less offended. Share your opinion and say, this is my current thought on that, and the other person not get offended, but go, okay, well, that's incompatible with my current thought, so we either need to talk about this or stop what we're doing. And that could be used for any situation, including friends with benefits. How did you come up with BoredGamer logo? Iteration. And sort of like, I'm pretty low effort. It's like, Lego face, boom. When we get to see 4.0 on the roadmap, after on this roadmap extended. So typically once a patch goes live, a week or two after that, they will, or they should update the roadmap with the next quarter's, an additional quarter's extension. So I would expect to see it potentially at the end of this month. I think I might have solved the elongated skull mystery. I believe they said it's what it's called is sonophilia in history, such as St. Christopher. So I have a long head and a weird shaped head, okay? I just do. This is one of my things. Boy Duck, thank you very much for the sub, very much appreciated. And James, thank you very much as well. And Drugd, if I hadn't already said, thank you. Thank you for the subs, thank you for the donations, very much appreciated. But yeah, I have a really long head, okay? That's my thing. I'm a fucking potato, I'm an egg. What am I? I'm a beluga whale. Whatever you want, I'm that. However, I was a cesarean section, okay? So my head was not compressed by the birth canal when I was a baba, which means, what can mean, quite often, you have a slightly odd-shaped head. I have an odd-shaped head. Fucking get over it. Most people face me from the front, anyway. Look you directly in the eyes, mate. You're looking at me directly from the side all the time, you're fucked up, mate. Oh, I've got your garlic powder. Or even black garlic powder. Oh. Smoked garlic's amazing. I'll follow up, been doing some salt, pepper, smoked paprika, sous vide, and cast iron sear. Wanted a little smoke. We'll consider sugar or something with it. Yeah, some brown sugar works, just a little tiny bit though. The sous vide, just put less salt with it. If it's too salty, with your sous vide in your bag. How long are you leaving it in the fridge for, your sous vide bag? Or you... Are you looking forward to melee combat mechanics? Yeah, I'm looking forward to any new mechanics in the game. I hope they're not shit. Enjoy this, I've got to go. See you later, usually, mate. You take care, buddy. Talking potatoes, indeed. Do you think capital ships like the Kraken, Idalas, and others will be purchasable in-game? Yes, they will. They said almost all the ships will be purchasable in-game, and it's going to be almost everything, pardon me, because they like the Saber Raven might only be purchasable from other players because it was a promo ship. But everything, pretty much everything, should be purchasable in-game from vendors or something. More brains than can fit inside the skull is all. Thanks. That's a lie, but thanks. Do you think server-side object container streaming will slip in before Crusader? Yeah, I'm hoping they get it in for 3.8, because really they need it before they expand out Microtech, unless they get other server optimizations in the meantime. DoD should model a ship based on your head. Thanks. Thanks, Method Doc. Appreciate it. Do you think CIG will go down the route of life simulator type thing, where you can have to cook and pee? Apartments with a rice maker and stuff. Yeah, so the player status system, which is coming in 3.8, tracks hygiene, tracks hunger, tracks thirst. Well, it's planned to come in 3.8 anyway. And there's like food mixers and drinks machines and coffee machines and stuff on ships. You will get a debuff basically if you don't drink or wash or whatever for a long period of time. It might affect the way people act around you, going, oh god, and it will affect your stamina. I'm a space narwhal. Thanks. I've got a sous vide. I don't have problems with my steak being overly salty when I had those problems. So typically when I sous vide something, I will put I'll sous vide it in a bag in the what I'm going to be cooking it with in the sous vide and leave it for like for a day or so, at least 12 hours in the bag. I don't put too much salt in there because I think with steak especially, you really only want to season it with salt and pepper literally just before it hits the pan. Management of the money, as far as I've seen, has been done very well. If you said about management of the project, you would be correct up to the last 2 years or so, both being run correctly and management seemed on point. As far as 300 million for a game like this, it's never been done before on a smaller scale. Other games have thousands of staff on smaller scale. So I actually think pre-2016 there was lots of management issues with Star Citizen. They were finding their feet. They were probably really inefficient. They've reworked huge portions of the game. There was loads of feature creep. But now, post-2016, they've got pretty good. Chris Roberts has talked about player-owned camps. Oh yeah, there's going to be player-owned outposts and things. Build your own outposts. Hover mode, have you commented on it, leaving it until they get more fixed in 3.6? At the moment, it's a little broken. There's lots of problems with it. It's hard to control. However, if you get used to using your thruster power throttle with right alt and mouse wheel, you've got an acceleration control there, and it's a lot easier to land with hover mode. Total agree at BoredGamer. Thanks. Don't know what I said, but I'm glad you agree with me. Boom. I never mind if people don't agree with me, that's all good. I like having the conversation. I like having my thoughts challenged and understanding from other people's points of view. I think BoredGamer, Boardhead looks pretty good. Thanks, Bay. It would be strange if he was trying to maintain a receding hairline. Real talk. Mate, I used to have a beautiful mohawk until it started to recede. Right. I'm going to off and get some food because I'm hungry and I have not eaten properly. I had a croissant with some ham this morning for my breakfast, but I'm going to have some chicken and some quinoa. Although my friends told me last night that quinoa is ruining some countries. Apparently they are aggressively farming it in like Peru and stuff, and I was like, oh really, now I have to look into the morality of quinoa, and so I have to check that out at some point. Well, that's the worst. But I love you guys. Thank you very much for joining me. We're going to probably go and stream G. Because he is my lover. No, that's a lie. He is a BoredGamer streamer. Zin should be working for me relatively soon. And hopefully she will stream very regularly as well. But she'll be very Star Citizen-y. Actually, G is reasonably Star Citizen-y. He could always be more Star Citizen-y, couldn't he? G's not streaming anymore. So we will go and host someone else. Oh, Baron's online. Although, I think he's doing Kerbal, unfortunately. Kelly Drex. Let's go there. I've not had this person before. Give them some love. Right. I love you guys. You take care. I'll see you soon. I've got any more questions before I jump off. Is it true that robbing your dome at convention bestows great fortune? If you are going to approach me from behind and rub my head, please give me warning and tell me before you just do it. Okay? I get a reasonable amount of people coming up behind me and grabbing me on stuff when I'm unaware. I have an anxiety condition, and I'm worried that I'm going to spin around and punch someone out of fear one day. So please tell me before people come up to me and rub me. But beyond that, yes, why not? This person's actually playing Star Citizen. At the moment,
They just seem to have a like static screen showing it, like showing their logo. Let's go to someone that's actually playing Star Citizen. Let's go to HC Vertigo. Bam. Give him some love. Right, love you guys. You take care. We're going to give this guy a host, so feel free to jump over here. You take care, and I will love you and leave you. I might stream again tomorrow because I got a bit confused. I thought it was Friday. It's actually Thursday today. Who knew? Rad. Oh no, I've been done. Read. Yeah, thanks for joining me. You take care, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.